We're going to bring Michael Perlin up now as we transition.
Hello.
Hi.
Hi.
Let me pull your bio over here just so I properly introduce you. But well, where did it go? Of course.
Oh, thank you for having me on here for the first time. It's an
It's a
honor to be on
pleasure.
this event.
It's such a pleasure. It was such an easy heavens yes for me to bring you into this container because man, everything that you share and everything you post is quite literally the embodiment of unity consciousness. You were just speaking into that, the mirrors that we all are and the power that we all hold, and really understanding the fractalization of consciousness. And
Mhm.
so and I mean, I've already shared with them on the morning session as well, you guys. Alondra, you're awesome. Thank you. She just sent me what an angel she is. She just sent me your bio because I couldn't find it.
There you go.
So I will officially properly introduce Michael Perlin to you guys. He is a metaphysical filmmaker, an author, and a spiritual explorer whose work merges the realms of art and enlightenment. Michael has dedicated his life to inspiring others on their journey towards self-discovery and spiritual awakening. Man, Michael, producer, writer, but you've been really busy in the writing spaces these days, haven't you?
Yeah, so I went and started writing books after the movie.
Mm.
Um,
And when
but
did that wrap up? It was in what year was the movie?
2010
Okay.
released, yeah, 2012 was when I we premiered it in London. So I want this to be an experience. I want everybody to be supercharged. So let's do an experiment and have an experience. How about that? That's what I want this to be.
Are y'all in? I'm in.
Okay.
Supercharged experience. Sign me up, please.
So I'm just gonna start talking about what the movie was about and why I made it. Um, and then we're gonna show a little clip, which is gonna take you into that space and then open up for questions after the clip. So the movie called Three Magic Words was a lifelong journey that I had through going on a spiritual path and searching for a common theme of all the masters and teachers in history. And something happened where I found it. A book pretty much fell off the shelf. And it was called Three Magic Words by U.S. Anderson. And that inspired me to make the movie. So, without revealing what the three magic words are, I'm just going to tell you it's about self-realization and it's about becoming self-realized. You can do it right now, right here, even with everything going on in your life and in the world. It doesn't matter. It's actually really easy. And because it's just about waking up to who you really are. So, with that, we're going to play the movie or the clip. Let me know if you can hear the sound. Hear sound?
Who am I? Ooh, that's hard.
I am, boy, you got me stumped. Um, I have to think about that a little bit.
I wouldn't want to be God. I feel like that's a lot of responsibility. I think it's a little bit scary. No, I don't believe I'm God. I hope not.
I am not God. I'm not in any way God or hope to be God.
But we are not God. We are mortal and we will die and rot, so we are not God.
God. I'm a firm believer that we're all gods on our path to enlightenment.
I believe that there's, someone or something out there, a spirit, the creation, the universe that is in everything. I don't know, I don't usually use the word God, but it's on the same terms.
I believe that we are all an extension of God. Mm-hmm. We are all God. We are it.
It's God. You're talking about like 3,000 years of history and human suffering and anguish and war and joy, and that's a big thing. And I don't want that responsibility. I don't know. That's definitely don't want that responsibility.
If we don't care, then we're just ignoring who we are. We're supposed to care. That's what makes us different from the animals. Responsibility, respect.
God. She or he.
Yeah, I do believe that God is a he, just because the Bible says the Bible is the whole truth.
The one has to be born again through Jesus Christ to have that influence.
I'm a Buddhist, and this is how I feel.
There's a Buddha in all of us. There's an Amma in all of us. There's a Christ in all of us. I believe it's there. I think we have all those parts.
If you translate the term God to be the sort of life energy, then it's absolutely true. It's what sort of quantum physics talks about. That at the most base level, in fact, you and I are made of the same thing that the palm tree is made of.
I know as I'm breathing that you are God and I am God. Like, I know that if something so amazing burst itself into being, that it created this earth, and it created you, and it created me, then we are like one and the same.
I am, you are, God is, they're all the same.
I am is the same as everyone else here, regardless of size, color, race, creed. I am exactly the same as you and you.
By being in service of other people, making a difference in other people's lives, I make a difference in my own life. And that's kind of what I'm about.
And if I can somehow create a world, a better world in some way, I'm very fulfilled.
If you help one person through their life get by, then you've already accomplished that which you're here to do. It's quite simple. We're supposed to help everybody, and in turn, sometimes we need help.
I know I am, but this takes, usually you have like a few minutes, like think about this,
Who am I? Wow, that's a loaded question. I am peace, I am joy, I am happiness, I'm creativity, I am abundance, I am endless, I am love. I just love everybody. It's great, man. How can I go to the beer garden?
I'm just a person.
I'm a sister, a mother, a friend, and a lover.
I don't even know what a person is. I mean, really, what is a person? I don't know if I'm a person.
I don't know.
I'm just in this body. I'm in a person body.
The concept that we're all one and we're all God is an awesome responsibility for each individual if they choose to accept that. If everybody takes responsibility as being the divine, then we wouldn't hurt each other. We wouldn't go to war with each other. We wouldn't leave people hungry. We wouldn't kick people out of their homes. We wouldn't abandon people. We would love people and we would forgive them. And we would make this the greatest planet in the Milky Way.
How inspiring was that video? Do you feel like you can relate to that in any way? Can you relate to what those people had to share? We talked about that this morning, right? Like the responsibility, the parts of us that are like, no, I can't claim that. I can't be that.
So yeah, I went around when I made that, it was part of making three magic words, and I went around and asked people, random people in the street, who are you minus your name, what you do, and where you're from? And you got some pretty cool stuff come out of that. Um, so I've shown this video a lot, and some people have a problem with accepting that they can't say it. They can't say, I am God. So what I would like to do is just open up questions for anyone who feels retracted by thinking or even being able to say that. And it's okay. Don't be shy if it's because of your upbringing or religious background or whatever, anything like that. And if nobody has any questions that feels that way, then anyone can ask a question that can say it.
I love that. And what I love about this most of all is that we had a little bit of space to digest after our call this morning, but the reality is we can't. Yes, we may intellectually know that we are one with God, that we are God, that we are not separate from, but when we say that out loud, we were noticing the resistance in the body, the part of us that was like, ooh, no, it's not safe to claim that. And honestly, what was coming up for me is it's not safe because we've been killed, right? Many lives we weave in which saying something like that out loud would be, we'd lose our head. So there was this, I believe beyond just what we've experienced in this lifetime, there's, epigenetically and multidimensionally so much pain and trauma around the separation from God.
Hmm.
So
Yeah.
Amber says, I've literally been hearing, who are you for the last year? The question has randomly been popping in my head, and I have been sitting with this question frequently.
Yeah.
I love that. What have you landed on, Amber? You
Yeah.
can unmute yourself if you'd like.
Sure.
We're kind of in a Q&A share space here.
So, yeah, that's a tough one. It's kind of landed in one place and then it's evolved into another place. I still was like, I was kind of getting frustrated. Actually, I'm like, you tell me who I am. Like, I'm hearing this voice, like, and so I would say certain things, like things I'm trying to integrate and embody, like they're more on the lines of like probably gifts or something like that. And then recently I felt like it was like I was being shown I have not really embodied or accepted the I am, like the God aspect of me fully. And he or she got, like the divine is trying to get me to really integrate that or just know that I am God too. And it's still hard for me to say that, like you've been saying. It feels weird
Yeah.
saying, but it's
The reason it's hard is because the ego's job is to stop you from thinking that. The ego thrives on thinking on making you think you're separate from God. It thrives on division. It thrives on separateness. So it's always going to come in and say, "Oh, no, I'm just me. I'm just my thoughts. I'm just my past. I'm just my relationships. But when you take away your name, what you do for a living, your history, and that's how the movie starts. The three magic words is a woman has amnesia. She forgets everything that she had, who she was, her past, her insecurities, her pain and suffering, clean slate completely. And it's herself, it's her journey on self-discovery of what her whole meaning of her life is without any memories. So, and it's a real thing. People can suffer amnesia and they have pretty spiritual, profound experiences. So, when you take all that away, you have just your pure consciousness or soul, if you want to call it that. And that is straight from it's the source of your creation. And you can call it God, the cosmos, the universe. So that's what I take people on that journey so they can actually come watch that movie and you'll have no you'll never have another problem knowing and being able to say
Yeah, I almost
it.
teared up a few times. It was hitting something. I actually feel like heat all over my body. So it's like it's definitely what I needed to hear.
Yeah, you're divine. And all the masters have told us that. Krishna, Buddha, Jesus, they've all said it. Countless masters in history have told us all that we are life living itself, God seeing the world through our eyes, through each individual, and we're all just one being.
Even before I started hearing this question for the probably for the past 4 years, I've been saying like mantras like I'm in you, you're in me, there's no separation, we are one. And um, but it still wasn't like I guess embodied, and it was like needed to come to a whole different level, I guess. And I'm still in that process, but
Welcome to the beginning of self-realization.
yeah.
It's a lot of fun because once you see the truth, you might think it intellectually, but once you
Yeah.
start living it, you see everyone as God and you see them all, every animal. When you look in the eyes of a puppy, and once you see it, you can't stop not seeing it anymore. And everybody you look at them with puppy love, and you're excited, like Lacey, how she's like, "Hi, everyone,"
Yeah, yeah, she does.
and and then you're incapable of judgment and ridicule, and
I've
because
been actually
everybody is a
practicing
form
that
of you.
too.
Yeah.
Like look intentionally looking at people and saying, just like reminding myself, these are all God. These are all divine beings. Like I am kind of intentional about that too. Yeah.
And I get it all the time when people are like, we'll fight it and attack, and they'll say, "Oh, so you believe this person is?" Um, and I would say, "Of course." It just they're lost in the illusion of separation, and
Yeah.
there's different levels of it. You could be in the furthest spiritual amnesia you could go, and you would be a very dark person because you see yourself as I'm me, and they're the rest, the others. You don't see yourself as one. Cool.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Hmm.
I love what you shared. It really, I do believe is an evolution, right? Like you learn, oh, my thoughts create my reality. But do you all of a sudden, the very next day, become a master manifester, manifesting exact and creating exactly what it is that you prefer in life? No, it takes time. And I believe, especially with something so as charged as I am God, yeah, like there's so much within not just our own personal consciousness and experiences, but the collective that is trying to keep us from identifying as that, to keep us from knowing the truth of who we are. And so, yeah, very much by design, there's a lot that we kind of have to wade through. And it's not, when I was sharing, it's not about the surface level affirmations where you just say it over and over again until it might feel true, because even that can feel re-traumatizing when you're like, no, that doesn't feel safe to say. So like really working with, okay, what's there? What's the resistance? What within my own religious programming. There was some conversation around religion, right? Like religious people attacking. That is something that Joyce had mentioned. Constant attack from religious people, persecution wound, right? And what I love is that we don't have to defend ourselves. We don't
Yeah.
have to defend our beliefs.
Yeah. The further you go with this, the more you become like the masters, where nothing offends you and nothing bothers you, and you just smile at the attacks because you know that they're just another form of your own consciousness and they're a part of you. So your job there is just to be that example for them, that example of light, so that you might be able to shine a little bit off of onto them and they can go on their journey. I do it all the time.
The best practice is what you said though, Amber, right? Like looking through the lens of God, of love. And to me, those words are interchangeable. God and love and God. So yeah, looking through that lens of love of God and getting to just mirror that back to people. My favorite thing to do is that in the airport, right? Like the airport, you just get, I have a dear friend and we talk about this all the time where you like, I turn into a Care Bear and I'm like, okay, Care Bear stare and just love bomb, love beam everybody I see, just this big
Right.
smile on my face, like you're God and you're God and you're God and you're divine and you don't even know it yet, but I pray that one day you get to.
You can do that in traffic too. When there's
Traffic.
you can say these are just all God, even that guy that's angry at me. I didn't do anything.
Yeah.
Mhm. And just, hold the anger or the frustration out because everybody's just experiencing their everyone's on their own unique path back to the creator.
Yeah. Yes.
So, yeah.
Thank you, Amber, for
Thank
sharing
you.
your discovery of who you are, who you be. What I heard too out of your share, what I really love is, and you trying to answer that question, you were identifying with things that might not really be actually who and what you are. And they're like, no, get to the core. Who
Yeah.
are you? Who are you?
Exactly. That's what it has felt like. I'm like, okay, like I started to get frustrated. Like I'm like,
When
because I was thinking I was like saying who I was, but it wasn't the right answer.
you meditate, Amber? Or do you meditate?
All the time, like frequently throughout the day. Yes.
Ramana Maharshi says when you meditate, you can start out by just asking yourself when you're getting rid of the thoughts, when you first sit down, because you got to get rid of the thoughts first. And you ask yourself, who is it that's having these thoughts? And then you're like, okay, it's the ego. And then you ask, okay, who's observing these thoughts? And then you realize it's your great self or the observer. And then you say, who is that? And then that's when you realize none of those thoughts are you. They're just an ego personality construct that you created, and that you're observing those thoughts from God's point of view. And then you know who you are.
Thank you.
How he describes it. Yeah.
And I love it because I'm like, I designed this avatar. I designed Lacey. I was like, yeah, I want to play this part. This is what I want to, this is who I'm going to be born by. This is what I'm going to look like. This is what I'm going to, right? It's like we designed these avatars. And I love like sometimes we can go into this like, oh, I'm God. And then we kind of even get distracted from this life. And it's like, and I'm Lacey. And I want Lacey or you want Amber to live the most epic life that she possibly can, knowing that she is divine.
Mm-hmm. In India, they already know this truth. I think it was Alan Watts who said, in the West, if you wake up and you say, "I am God," they could say blasphemy and they hang you. In the,
Wow.
in the East, you say, "I am God," they say, "Congratulations, you finally found out."
Yeah.
So they already treat everyone there. I mean,
Mhm.
most parts, a beggar or a homeless person, if they show up at your door, they're just like, "Come on in, come in, God, come have some food," because they see that as just a divine coincidence, and you never know what path that's going to take you on, who this person could be, what could say that you need to hear, just because the universe is working like that. So Yeah, when we see that truth, magic happens. Miracles happen and show up in our lives.
I think it was harder. I think it was more weird to me because was like saved when I was 10 and
Mm,
I had so like my whole life was in most of it. I had my backslided phases or whatever, but in Christianity. And so, and it was, I was went through different stages of awakening starting in 2012, then 2020, then 2023, like fully, where I just went through this whole deprogramming. So this is part of it. This is part of the reprogramming.
nice, nice. There's the true teachings of Jesus, and then there's the church's interpretation of
Yeah.
the. It's a big difference.
Yes.
Christian mysticism is what I like.
That's what I was more so in before I came through Awake,
Mhm.
this place I am now, which
Nice.
eclectic, I guess. I don't know.
Eclectic.
Eclectic.
Mhm. Great.
Thank you
Thank
so
you.
much.
Mhm.
I see over there, Lyra asked a question that I found to be really interesting. She said, how do you have this conversation on who we are with our starseed children? She's a mother of four and she wants to navigate teaching this.
That's a great question. I have kids too, 7 and 10 years old, and they are fully aware of what God is. And basically, since they were little, I asked them, "Who do you think God is?" And I didn't even have to say anything because they didn't have any religious influences, and they already knew that everything is God. So they're in that space that just everything is God. So I think that's the easiest way to to remind a starseed children
Mhm.
that everything you see, everything you touch, every plant, every person, every animal is God. I guess it's pantheism or panentheism, but there's so many, that's a label that people use so they can attack it. I
Mm.
don't use labels. I just say, someone will say, oh, that's pantheism. I'm like, is it? It's Mikism, actually.
It's just what I believe. It's what I know to be true. It's the truth. I
Yeah.
like what you said, and I feel like that's a really good stair step for people. Maybe not children. I feel like you can blow their world, and they're like, yeah, in that place of like everything is possible already, right? Like, but the idea of God as all that is, like sometimes it's a little bit easier for us to anchor in the fact that God is everything. That is all that exists. Everything that we are experiencing, seen, unseen, known, unknown, is God. And then sometimes maybe, okay, the interconnectedness of all things, God is all that there is.
Yeah.
And then you kind of swirl around to like, oh, well, like by deduction, if I do my math right, then that means I'm God. Wait, what? Oh, okay. And it can really be that kind of, I don't know, it feels like a little more playful than just like, I am God. Because I can, Amber, I'm with you. I feel where it's like, no, my upbringing, what I've been told is true and not true. That is blasphemy. That
Yeah.
is a sin, if you will, to even say out loud.
And you can identify with the ego if you want to your whole life. It's fine. There's nothing wrong with that. If you identify with your religion, with your nationality, with your color, with you can do that. But once you break free of ego identification and you start to realize that the consciousness is that you are is the collective consciousness of humanity, of everything, then you start to feel that, and then you start to feel empathy for everyone, and empathy for the world, and empathy, and you care about other people, strangers that you've never met in your life, and that's you start to see them as God. You start to see, and Jesus and Krishna both spoke as God because they reached that point. They reached the ultimate union with their consciousness with God, and so they spoke in first person as God. And and most people don't get that. They'll go on a path of worshiping that individual because, oh, this was God. This was the only face of God. But what they don't realize is that they were speaking as God because they attained that union consciousness.
Absolutely. I really love what Kelly just brought into the chat
Hmm.
because I actually, well, here, let me share what she brought in, and I had to kind of preface to around this. So she says, does anyone have the experience of feeling unsafe hearing I am God from others? And she's referencing it from a place of spiritual manipulation.
Sure. Yeah. So the God that we're referring to is not a personified ego-based God of narcissists. This like I am the only God. Um, this is pure consciousness. We're referring to pure consciousness because when you strip away everything that you're not the ego, then you get pure consciousness. And that's what we're referring to as I am God. People that are going to go around and say that, you can tell the ones that are truly embodying it and the ones that are just saying it and not meaning it because you're not going to feel safe around them. But like if you walk up to someone like Lacey, you're going to feel perfectly safe and comfortable and warm. And she can say, I am God. And you'll be like, what do you mean by that? Tell me more. So you can just the vibration of the person. Walk away if somebody says it and you don't feel safe around.
Yeah, I completely agree. I think that that was something that I was trying to preface going into this container is that this is not spiritual ego. It is not, if you guys are familiar with the law of one, I meant to bring that forward this morning, but my notes got lost. So, but if you're familiar with the law of one, the a beautiful body of work that came through in the 80s, the Raw Collective talks about service to self or service to other. And all of it is within the realm of the law of one, meaning I understand that everything is God and that God is everything. And then you can take two paths with that. You can take the path of service to other, which is what everyone here is. And what that is the understanding of service to other is a service to self. It doesn't mean I neglect self to serve other. It is synonymous, but it is a path of understanding that all ships rise. If I help and support the collective, I support myself, that we are only as strong as our weakest link is the phrase, but not quite to that extent. Like this desire to serve and support the collective or this malintent, manipulative, I am God, and therefore I can manipulate and control you into giving me your power, which let's be honest, that's you can tell, you can feel the difference when somebody speaks those words out of their mouth. And there is a distorted new age spiritualism going around our planet that is coming from this very egoic, I am God place. But that's not what we're speaking into here. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so we're talking more about love.
Yep.
Because there's this eternal force that is the consciousness that is everything. And that is the force of love. And so self-realization is about waking up from that that you are waking up from waking your avatar up that exists in the dream of this consciousness that is God. And so when you wake up to that, you just love everyone. And so someone walking around saying that without also bringing in that love for everyone, you'll be able to tell right away. And so, yeah, I mean, the people that walk around and do that, if they're not looking at you and making sure that you are so comfortable, that you have everything you need, that you're there to help you, giving, kind, compassion, not criticizing you, not judging you, not attacking you, then you know they're really living that truth. Otherwise, they're not. Yeah.
I love
And
that.
that goes along with it. Like
Mm-hmm.
that goes right along with knowing that your God is living it, not just understanding it intellectually. You have to show it experientially. Yeah.
Thank you, Kelly, for bringing that forward because, yeah, there is some, beings that may speak those words and not be coming from a place of love. And the reality is I think with everything that's been happening across our planet over the last couple of years, we're realizing how important discernment is.
So I'll say a little bit about that.
Please.
If you're always focused on the doom and gloom, your mind will never be free.
Mm.
And that's how I live my life. There's always going to be stuff. It's not just this generation. I mean, they were chopping heads off and before we were born, thousands of years ago. There were genocides. There was the Inquisitions. There was hanging witches, burning people at the stake. There's always gonna, I mean, they were probably thinking, God, what are we doing in this world right now? Everything is going crazy. There's always gonna be ignorance, and there's always gonna be separation and people that want to hurt others because they're not them in their mind. It's always the other one's fault. The other one is to blame. You have to just let it talks. Okay, so this is what Jesus and Krishna talk about devotion and surrender. So this has to do with devotion and surrender. So you just surrender to just be in love with God and everyone on the planet as God, and then surrender to whatever is happening because it's our collective consciousness that's creating everything we experience as a whole on Earth. So it's all you. You can't blame anyone for anything. And so that's why when things happen, for me, I just surrender and I say, I have no control over this except to enlighten everyone that walks in my path and show them that I'm love and show them that I'm God in that way. And then hopefully it'll trickle off and it'll ripple outward and more people will wake up because all you're doing is waking up more parts of yourself. And that's you're gonna when you that's all I can do as a human being on this planet is showing the love that I feel for others so that they can start to feel the same thing. I'm glad this is a space I can talk like that.
Yeah. Oh, that's the only types of spaces that I know these days are the ones in which I can talk. And actually, I take that back. I just talk like that no matter what.
I wish I could.
Because I can laugh and smile and people are like, "Oh, okay, that's the weird girl."
Yeah,
I guess maybe I can get away with it a little bit easier.
right. Yeah.
I love, there's a beautiful share from Marianne in here too. She said she channeled that each one, as part of Source, the unified field of divine light and unconditional love, decided that it was time to create yourself as a unique soul with your unique soul frequency and still and always part of the unified field. Also, that we plan our soul blueprints plan and choose our guides and helpers. And after death, we evaluate the plan of our guides. So we are the most high, each and every one, creator, creating, and create. Wait, I'm sure she meant creator, creation, and creating, which I love. Very beautiful, Marianne.
Hmm. Do we have any more questions?
That's what I was looking for. I'm not seeing any more questions in the moment.
All right, then I'll share then I'll share something. So when I over
Ooh.
the years I've collected, oh, did you just want to say
Somebody
something?
said, how many countries did you visit to film this? And what was the most common response you received? I like those questions.
Um, so we screened it in several different places: Japan, Tokyo, Hawaii, London, and then most of the United States. But I filmed it in LA when I lived there. Um, what was the other question?
What was the most common response that you
Oh, the most
received?
common response to my questions, like who are you, what do you do for a living,
Yeah.
and where are you from? They were stumped. Most of the people were completely stumped. They're like, oh, never been asked that question before. So it was interesting. Yeah. I mean, it jumped people out of their ego because
Mhm.
all those things is what their ego is attached to. So when you ask them remove that stuff, they had to repeat it. Wait, who am I without saying what my name is, what I do for a living, and where I'm from? I'm like, yeah, tell me. So what I normally do when I screen the movie is I had everyone before I showed the movie, I had everyone write those questions down and answer them. Who are you? And then we showed the movie, and then we saw how many people actually said, I am God. and it
Hmm.
was not a lot, but some did.
I can't imagine it would be a lot, especially right off the bat. It's almost like we need a little bit of gentle, like, come on, you can do it. It's okay to say it, right?
Yeah, yeah.
What were you going to share before I jumped into the other question?
So if you are still questioning this metaphysical concept that you are God, don't take my word for it. You don't have to believe anything that I say. I put a compilation together of all the famous quotes by like 50 masters and put it together in this. It's called The Keys to God Consciousness, and it basically takes the quotes about us being God and shows you who said it. From every culture, every religion, every philosopher, whoever said anything like that, that just right out and saying it. Like, yes, we are divine in their own way. So it's really cool. Just wanted to share that.
I love that. And I want a copy of that. And
Yeah.
I
And
also like what you're making me think about is the quantum physics. Like I was when I started to study quantum physics, and I was like, and this separation of science and spirituality. Guys, if you go and read all the quotes from the quantum physics, I mean, there it is undeniable to every single one of them that God is real and that we are all God and that we are all interconnected. So I love that we get to hear the really beautiful, vibrant spiritual teachers, the great teachers across multiple different religions share that same piece of information. But it's really neat to now get to hear the bravery of our own scientists coming back with the exact same thing.
right. Yes, science is definitely catching up to ancient truths, and they're now, it's proven that consciousness affects matter with the Heisenberg principle, so they can see the electrons behaving differently when we observe them. When a human being observes them versus testing them with a machine, they behave different when we look at them. So they know now that consciousness affects matter. So that just confirms what all the masters were saying, that our
Mhm.
consciousness creates everything we experience, and which makes sense because if you have a positive outlook on life, you're going to attract positive things to you. Anything that happens in your life, if the obstacles that come your way, challenges that come your way, you're going to look at them and you're going to just like, okay, I accept this challenge and I know this is for my own learning experience. And you don't look at them as a problem and create anxiety around it.
Mhm.
Um, Consciousness is really important. Just keep staying aware that you're creating everything you're experiencing through your thoughts.
There's so many cool quantum concepts that I love. I did a whole play shop on that one time. Really, one of my favorite, which is the that so again just proves that we are not only that we are God, but that everything that God is, we are, is the holographic principle of reality. Like everything is a holograph. And when you take a holograph, you take it and you cut it in half or cut it into
Yeah.
tiny little pieces, it still has the image of the whole. Like you cannot cut it small enough without it encompassing all. In other words, it has the information available. And I love that because when we start to see ourselves as a fractal of consciousness, as a holographic being, we're like, yes, literally created in God's image. Like there's no way that we aren't the all powerful, all knowing divine beings that God is, because we are a holograph of that.
Right. Yeah, there's a great book on that, The Holographic Universe, I think, that I read. Um, we're we're supposed to live in this illusion. There's nothing wrong. Maya, they call Maya, is the illusion of the of not knowing, of forgetting who we are. It's all meant to be this way. We're here. We chose to come here and forget that we're God. This is our experience. There's no rule against waking up to the truth and knowing that we are. And that's the whole, is not to wake up, or you can choose to wake up and you can see the difference in your life and what it does for you. But the Maya, the illusion, is here for a reason. We put
Mm.
it here, and it's what our souls choose to experience on Earth. I don't know if it's like this other places in the universe, but here it is, and you chose to be here, so enjoy it.
I'm so with you on that. Thank you for bringing that forward because I believe that we're done considering Earth a prison planet. You guys, if anyone is continuing to continue to share that narrative, run because that is not a narrative of love. That is not the narrative of truth. That is a false narrative. This is not a prison planet. We came here in full and total sovereign divine choice. We helped design what we're experiencing. And so, yeah, the illusion, the Maya, the separation, the duality was a choice. It was an experience that we were like, yeah, cool. Sign me up for that. That sounds fun. That's a fun
Yeah,
ride.
the Buddha had so many amazing teachings around that. Like just to
Yeah.
see reality for what it really is and be aware of the illusion and see that all suffering is from attachment. It is, if you think about it.
Mhm.
Attachment to your people, to your friends and relationships, to your family, to your material things, to your job. And so suffering is all a result of that. So once you realize the impermanence of everything, that nothing stays the same, everything changes, then you can move through that easier and flow through that easier. And that's what the Buddha taught. Just sitting there in meditation, he figured it out.
It's
So
incredible. Anicca, Anicca. Anytime I hear impermanence, I think of that word. I took the 10-day Vipassana meditation retreat.
nice.
I got,
Yeah.
yeah. And so when I think of that, and I love that word, the impermanence of everything, everything is transitory, everything is changing. And what I love so much about that is when we're in pain, we can remember that this is temporary, this serves a purpose, and this is going to go away. And then when we're in bliss and happiness and pleasure and expansion, we get to remember this is temporary. I better enjoy this. I better savor it. I better really be present for this experience because I might not experience this anything like this
Yeah.
tomorrow. So, yeah, it just really invites us into the present moment and into just deep trust and surrender.
Right. And that's a big one is the present moment, living right now, not worrying about the future, not regretting the past. Because that's what worry is. It's thinking about the future. Regret is thinking about the past. But that's just holding on to your ego and who you are because of your past, or who you think you're going to be because of your future. But you got to let all that go and just live in the now. That's what they mean. If anybody doesn't understand what living in the present moment means, that's what it means is not worrying and not regretting.
Mhm.
It takes a while to get there. And I slip up sometimes, and I'm not perfectly self-realized. I don't think I'd love to know like more. But I'm still getting started on that path too. But I do see that I don't have a lot of hate and fear anymore. I don't have any suffering anymore. I don't see people as different than me. I see them as completely equal. And and that's why I believe that self-realization can happen. Anybody can do it right now, right here. And to me, it's just waking up to and realizing who you have been, who you've always been. And it's not seeking something. It's not seeking something outside of yourself. It's not seeking God sitting on a throne in a cloud. It's knowing that you have always been that and living that. So that's what it is to me.
Thank you so much. And you guys, everyone's asking on how they can find your books. So let's see if we can. Alondra, you might be able to, do you have your, it's, and is it, are they all on Amazon or do you have them on your website?
They're all on Amazon. And
Okay.
the one up, so I'm giving away the
Yeah.
my my new book that I just released called The Path to Self-Realization. It's on everything we're talking about right now.
Let me pull up that
Yeah,
image
so
for you.
if you've attended this course live, you get it for free. Just send me a Facebook
How
direct
generous is
message.
that?
It shows you my agenda is not to make money and it's to wake up other parts of myself. So yeah, there it is. So just send me a message and you'll get the book.
And this is one of many books that he has been pumping out. I swear to you, every 4 months he's got a new one. What are some of the other books? The book titles
Yeah,
are
here they are. This is
Yeah. Here, wait, hold on. Let me unshare so they can see you full screen. There you go.
this one is called Two Faces of God. So it's on the shared wisdom of Jesus and Krishna, and pretty much puts together. So during my path, I discovered that when they were both speaking as God from first person, and so I said, what if I replace the word I and me in all of the things that they said, and moved and put in the word God, and then it opened up a whole just gold nugget of wisdom. And so I wrote this by switching the words of me and I in their parables to God. And it made sense, perfect sense that they were teaching the exact same truths. So that's that one. This one goes into completely what my passion is ancient Egypt and the gods who were here before, quote unquote gods, and who they were and what they did and before man was on the scene, because in Egyptian history there's thousands of years before man was there. They have a history of the legends of the gods. So that's what this one is. When the gods
Mm.
walked the earth. So anybody who loves Egypt and Egyptian mysticism and uh, archaeology, that's that one for you. The pyramids, who built the pyramids? It's all in there. This book, I had to get it out of my system because of the day of the times we're living in and America and politics. So if you want to know how we can reunite the country back together, then that book's for you. It's called The Reunited States of America.
I love that.
And it goes into the mystic path of America and why this country was set up and what it was set up for by the Freemasons and Saint Germain and Francis Bacon, and what the mission was to create America. So that's what that one's about.
And I clicked on it out of curiosity to see if there were going to be any charged reviews. And everyone, there's really beautiful reviews on all of your
Okay.
books, even the ones that I was like, "Ooh, I'm curious," because they can be
Yeah.
a little controversial.
Sure, yeah. I speak from a very neutral point of view.
Uh-huh.
It's all about love and unity. So, um, and that's yeah, I think that's good to get you
That's
started with.
good. I like it.
Yeah.
If you guys
So
want to get the book from him, I've dropped his Facebook in there, the link, and you can just message him directly and he will mail it out over to you. And if you want to acquire any of his other books, then I'm sure he would really appreciate being supported. Not that it's necessary as he's so generous to us all, but I'm sure he would really appreciate the support online. You can get those on Amazon. And then of course, Three Magic Words. The website's already been shared.
you can watch the Three Magic Words movie for free on YouTube Movies TV. Just watch it for free.
Nice.
And also send me has a question for me or wants to ask me a question, you can send me a direct email. I'm always respond to kindness. Starseedfilms@gmail.com.
Starseedfilms@gmail.com, guys. Amazing. What book's coming through you next?
Well,
What are you working on?
I'm taking a break right now.
Good. You deserve one. You so deserve one. I thought you were done after we had our conversation a couple weeks ago, and then I saw you launched another one.
Yeah, that was when. So this path of self-realization was actually
Okay.
10 years of putting together. That one was all of my work and what it led to. So
Amazing. This is the one that has a lot of quotes. Or no, this is the one you're
no,
giving
that's the
to
keys to
everyone. Okay.
consciousness.
Yeah.
That's the one you're gonna get.
I want that one. I want them all, but that one, I'll take that one.
All right.
Amazing. You guys, was this helpful? Was this supportive? Was this starseedfilms@gmail.com? Yes, Amber. Perfect. How amazing and how perfect was this too, that this, not just this conversation, but Michael's entire body work and really what he's here to bring forward is so much the intention of today's intention, the source code, I am divine oneness. You guys might notice I didn't even put I am God on like the marketing materials because I didn't want to trigger anybody away. I wanted to like gently lure them in and they're like, bam, this is what
So I
we're
want
gonna
to say one thing to that. Say it to people, say it to your family and friends, but if you don't want to use the word God, don't use the word God, use divine. Everyone knows what that means. Just say, I am divine.
love that.
It's a very simple way to express it. Yeah.
I love
But
that.
everybody here, I'm sure, already knows this stuff. If they're on this I am event. Yeah. But it's good because I know it's being recorded. So I speak a lot for other people who have never heard of this. It's or just coming right out of their religion for the first time.
Yeah.
So I speak on that way too, because I know there's more of them than there are of us.
Go check out his YouTube as well. He's got some incredible, interesting videos, conversations, like your animation ones that you've started to create too, which are neat. So those are all public, right?
Yeah, so go to the my YouTube channel. You can check out an interview with Buddha, a 3D
Yeah.
animation recreation. You can see me in an avatar form, and I interview Buddha. Interview with Jesus, Yogananda, and Jesus, because Yogananda talks about Jesus appearing to him when he wrote his two-volume book, The Second Coming. So there's an interview with Jesus and Yogananda together, and then there's an interview with Yogananda and Krishna. As he interviews Krishna and asks him all the questions that anybody would ever have would want to ask about Krishna. So there's those three, and there's also one with Akhenaten. If you don't know who that is, it's was Nefertiti's husband, the great pharaoh in the 18th dynasty. That one's pretty amazing too.
You know what? I feel like Akhenaten is getting a comeback. I don't know why, but the energy of Akhenaten keeps coming back up since even we last talked. I actually have a friend, one of my very best friends. I don't know if he's still here, Richie Ricardo Sarmiento. He posted an incredible photo that Jay Hawk, kind of a starseed drawer. He drew this beautiful image, and I've been meaning to tell him. I was like, it looks like Akhenaten. It's just those features are so
So
prominent.
that's my next film. It's called The
Oh,
Star King. It's a 3D animation feature film. So I'm currently working on that.
awesome. Awesome. You guys, more coming from this masterful creator. You are truly a creative that is out here doing, and I feel like you could provide some inspiration to some people here that maybe feel like that they have a book in them and they've just been sitting on it and they're, swirling around and whatever soup of non-action they're in.
The easiest way to get a book out of your system, if you think you want to write one, you have one, is to give it a title. You have to have a title first because it's not going to create itself without that. And then once you do that, you show your work to people. Have people read it, get their feedback. If you don't do that, it's just going to sit on your shelf. That's how I get stuff done. Yeah.
Amazing.
And thank you, Lacey, so much for seeing me and my work and what I'm doing and my mission, my Starseed mission.
I think it was just an opportunity for me to reach out and connect with you. Honestly, I was like, I know this person, and it had been probably a good year of me just following you and witnessing your post and just feeling the resonant. And so I'm just deeply and profoundly grateful to rekindle and reconnect with you in this lifetime, brother. Like, it's
Yeah.
truly an honor. It's truly an honor. So thank you so much for all that you be, all that you embody. And I'm excited again, this friendship has now been reignited and I'm excited to continue exploring. And I feel like you and we could absolutely just talk for hours and hours. We already have talked for hours and hours on end.
Right? It's like 4 hours.
It was a 4 hour conversation our first time, and it was just perfect that we both had this space and it was meant to be. It was perfectly meant to be.
Mhm.
So I'm so grateful for you. Thank you so much. Thank you so much
You
for
know,
being a part of this.
thank you. You've seen when you throw two little puppies together, what happens, right?
No.
Yeah. Well, puppies are unconditional love, and you throw two of them together, they're all over each other. Okay, I'm
That's what
so
I just had a visual of them like rolling around in each other. It's fantastic. You guys. I hope you feel the love from all of the speakers here today, and I hope that your mind is expanded, your heart is expanded, and that it's just a little bit more easier. Although I feel like it's a little bit more than a little, for you to say, I am God. Let's all say it together 3 times. Yeah, that feels like a really powerful way to close out. Are y'all ready? In fact, let's unmute and say it. I want to hear your voices. Everyone unmute and tell me. Let's see if we can we unmute everyone all at once? I don't know if that's a possibility. You're gonna have to unmute yourselves, I think, guys. Who are you?
I
God.
am God.
I am God. Jessica, Amber,
I'm
Kara.
I
divine.
am
God.
I am God.
God.
I
Thank
am
you.
God.
Believe
You
it.
God.
I am
am
divine.
God.
I am
I'm
divine.
God.
I am divine.
I'm God.
I'm divine.
Welcome to self-realization, guys. You did it.
Thank you.
Y'all are
Thank you.
amazing. I love you. Thank you for being here. We'll be back in the morning for day 2, full day on Tuesday. Thank you so much. Such a pleasure. I love you.
Love
Mwah.
you. Bye.
Bye.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, guys. Wishing you a beautiful evening.
Beautiful
Thank
evening.
you.
Bye, loves.
Bye.
Bye.